Right now at 6, disturbing allegations hiding in plain sight.
And definitely wouldn't have expected that. It's a very nice neighborhood. Seems like a very safe place.
What alerted neighbors to a suspected case of human trafficking.
Plus, a partial bridge collapse on Highway 101 as crowds flock to the Oregon coast for Labor Day weekend.
There will be delays waiting for flaggers to allow traffic across that bridge.
And later, football fans caught in the middle of a TV tug of war.
Even if you're paying the $10 for the sports tier that Comcast is offering, you're going to be stuck blacked out.
How you can still catch the college football kickoff.
Hey, very good evening, everyone. Happy Friday, happy holiday weekend, where we're sitting in the mid-90s in the Rose City, our first of 2 weather impact alert days, with Saturday temperatures set to soar even higher.
So if you're looking for cool, better head to the coast at this point, because right now it's about 62 degrees or so at Lincoln City, though we do have a major traffic alert we want to update you on along Highway 101.
But first, let's start with meteorologist Chris McGinnis tracking that heat. Chris?
And you've got time then to go dip in the water, right, while you're waiting for that traffic to clear. At the beach, by the way, got a time lapse to show you the cool fog that's been forming along the Oregon coast. 95 degrees the high at PDX this afternoon, a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday, and I think we're going to take this and add a few more degrees as we head into Saturday. So yes, we are firmly in the grips of a little hot spell here for the final weekend of August. 97 was the high in Salem. Medford hit 103, and Central and Eastern Oregon were quite warm as well. Along the Oregon coast, yes, that was the place to be. Astoria only hit a high of 78 this afternoon. Tillamook at 75, Newport 61. The coast will be the place to be tomorrow again with cooler temperatures there. But as we sit now in the now 6 o'clock hour, it is still 95 degrees at PDX. It is entirely possible that this goes up another degree before things are all said and done. Note how dry the air is right now, the humidity at 18%. Newport is now fogged in. Check that out, 59 degrees at Yaquina Bay. All right, for tomorrow, we've got another KGW weather impact alert day. Again, we take today's high temperature and add 2 to 3 degrees to it for a forecast high tomorrow of about 98. The impact then, of course, is the high heat during the afternoon hours. You want to reduce your activity, do what you can to stay hydrated if you do have to work outside. The good news is tomorrow's the end of the really high heat. We do cool it down on Sunday, and cooler still on Labor Day Monday. We'll look at that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks for keeping tabs on all that. Thank you, Chris. And we continue to follow a traffic alert that we first brought you as breaking news yesterday when a part of a bridge guardrail and shoulder collapsed on Highway 101 north of Manzanita.
That is where we find our Celine Stevens. Celine, I know we're talking alternating traffic on that key stretch of highway. Any sign of how long it's going to last?
It's going to be like this at least through Sunday, David. And that's the thing many people are wondering. They're waiting for those 2 lanes to reopen because right now only 1 lane is in use at Nacarney Creek Bridge. And so the Department of Transportation says that Thursday afternoon, Oregon State Park staff at Oswald West State Park reported the damage to the Nacarney Creek Bridge. That's just north of Manzanita. That's when officials came out to see that the concrete guardrail and the sidewalk collapsed, with the steel guardrail facing major damage too. The bridge was built in 1937, and this particular section has never been replaced before. Now, given many may have plans to hit the coast before summer ends, ODOT says everyone needs to expect even more traffic than usual.
There will be delays waiting for flaggers to allow traffic across that bridge. And we're going to have to keep it that way definitely through the holiday weekend and into next week. So delays would be in light traffic, just a few minutes, typically 10 to 20 minutes when we're flagging traffic. But if things get really, really heavy, it can go a little longer.
He also said if a total detour was needed, it could add an extra hour or even 2 onto your commute. So if you do plan to travel this weekend, just plan accordingly, especially again through Sunday. Back to you.
Celine Stevens in a sunny Manzanita this evening. Thank you, Celine. Hey, we've got another quick traffic alert for you. We've just learned that State Route 47 is closed in both directions between Yamhill and Gaston due to a crash there. This is in northern Yamhill County. North Valley Road, one possible alternate there. No word on how serious that crash is or when the highway might reopen.
In your headlines today, the woman accused of animal neglect in Southeast Portland was arraigned on 15 counts of felony animal neglect charges. Police rescued 13 dogs and 2 cats from Susan Long's home in the Lentz neighborhood Tuesday. Police say several dogs were neglected and living in unsanitary conditions, with many stacked in cages. For months, the woman's neighbors say they were concerned about the animals and they contacted animal control. In the meantime, Long is not allowed to have any animals.
In North Portland, authorities are searching for a man they say stabbed another man in the stomach last night at a MAX station. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says two men got into a fight around 9 at the North Lombard Interstate Avenue station. The suspect left while the victim was taken to the hospital with non-lethal injuries. Transit police are investigating.
And we're learning more about a homeless woman who died in Vancouver earlier this week. Police say she was shot to death in what they think was a drive-by shooting. Wednesday morning is when this happened. The woman has been identified as 39-year-old Kiomini Pechet-Vathanale. Her body was found inside a tent on Northeast 66th between 4th Plain and SR 500. Police say it does not appear to have been random. So far, no word on any suspects.
And staying in Washington, the man charged with the murders of his ex-girlfriend and her 7-year-old daughter is set to go on trial a week from Monday. Kirkland Warren appeared in Clark County Court today. Last year, Miche Melendez and Layla Stewart were reported missing after investigators say they were last seen in a vehicle with Warren. 10 days later, authorities found their bodies. Both had been shot in the head.
And Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler wants PGE to reconsider a proposal to raise its rates. In a letter to the company, Wheeler said the rate hike will be a burden for people in Portland, and it would also add new costs for the city. PGE initially wanted a 10.9% increase next year, but has now dropped its request to a 6.3% hike. That would be on top of the 17% increase that we saw this year. Since 2021, PGE has raised its rates more than 40%. The utility says the increases are necessary for grid safety upgrades. Oregon's Public Utility Commission will have to decide whether to approve that rate hike. Now at 6, Hillsborough police have arrested a man accused of taking advantage of a person living with disabilities that he was supposed to be protecting and caring for.
Sydney Dorner's live at the Washington County Jail. So Sydney, walk us through what you know.
David, Christine, Jack Hauser was taken into custody after police arrested him Tuesday. Hillsborough police believe Hauser forced a 26-year-old victim to sell snacks and drinks at a shopping center, often making him stay there for several days at a time without proper shelter or proper clothes. People who frequent Sunset Esplanade Shopping Center in Hillsborough say they often saw a caring man selling snacks and drinks right as you drove in.
He just wanted to, spread the word of God and sit out there and give drinks, and he would give it away for free, or he would take whatever you had to offer.
Every time I would go to Dollar Tree or Target, I'd come back by. If I have any change left over, I'll hand it to him. He'll offer me like a bottle of water or anything to snack on.
But eventually, people who saw him started to grow concerned and flagged Hillsborough police. After an investigation, they arrested Jack Hauser on Tuesday. Hauser was the young man's caretaker who took over after his mother died.
Him and his mom were living in a motorhome, and she had passed, and so he was kind of out there on the streets.
After collecting evidence from Hauser's home and cars, police believe Hauser was exploiting the man they say was developmentally disabled.
He's really nice, and I don't think he had street smarts where he was able to protect himself, so I think he definitely was a target.
Hillsborough police accuse Hauser of forcing the victim to sell drinks and snacks for several days on end, claiming the young man wasn't given proper shelter or clothes, allegedly only allowed by Hauser to sleep in a car or garden shed.
I do feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
But it doesn't end there. Police also say Hauser didn't let the victim contact others and restricted his access to money and health care.
I guess you just never know sometimes. Kind of scary,
Behavior his neighbor is taken aback by.
Yeah.
Saying the family continuously went out of their way to be helpful.
And definitely wouldn't have expected that. They just, it's a very nice neighborhood. Seems like a very safe place, and that's definitely very surprising to hear.
Now, Hillsborough police want to take this time to thank the community for tipping them off about this and remind people human trafficking can come in many forms. As for Hauser, he's expected to appear in court next Thursday. David, Christine, back to you.
Sydney Dorner live in Hillsborough. Thank you, Sydney. The family of a Portland couple killed in a crash are frustrated about a plea deal that's been reached with the speeding driver.
James and Lisa Johnson died last October 28th on Northeast Lombard Street. In addition to family and friends, the couple left behind 3 grown children. Investigators say 30-year-old Jalen Benjamin was speeding and smashed into the Johnsons as they tried to turn off Lombard. Family members say they've been clear. They want the case to go to trial. But the Multnomah County DA is accepting a plea deal that gives Benjamin a 10-year prison sentence.
And ultimately, the DA's office, instead of utilizing taxpayers' resources, chose to take the easy route and accept a plea offer, even though they told us they have a very strong case.
The DA's office sent us a statement saying, in part, we recognize the position of the family in this case and empathize with them amidst their loss. They added, the plea that was reached is very near the statutory maximum for the charges, and the determination was made to not proceed to trial. A hearing on the plea deal is set for October 11th. Starting Sunday, possession of hard drugs will become a crime again in Oregon. And today, Portland Police Chief Bob Day provided some clarity over how officers plan to enforce the new law.
Well, the chief says the first step will be to put the suspect in handcuffs while police check if they have outstanding warrants or have immediate medical needs. If they do not and are not committing another crime, they'll be offered the option of treatment over jail, though the chief says he thinks the number of people who meet those criteria will actually be relatively small. Police say they'll wait up to half an hour for an addiction specialist to arrive. If not, they'll be headed to jail. And as for whether a person is caught multiple times without engaging in treatment or recovery.
But somewhere in here, common sense has to prevail, right? If it's, every 2, 3, 4 days, we're contacting the same person over the course of a 30-day period, then, my direction is going to be that we need to take that person to jail.
Well, we'll have much more on this coming up at 6:30 on The Story, only here on KGW.
Still to come here at 6, Ducks and Huskies fans frustrated by a Big Ten blackout. How you can still catch the college football kickoff.
And later, Friday night football is getting ready to make its debut with a local team beginning its quest for back-to-back titles. Orlando has the magic, so to speak, that's just ahead here on KGW.